What is up, guys? It is Tony here, and today we are doing an episode of How to Photo, and we are looking at car photography again, and I'm sure some of you guys may be a little bit angry about that, so I'd like to quickly address that. Basically, the reason why I'm doing car photography again is because I have nothing else that I've been taking photos of at the moment, and really this is the only option I have. Not to mention, this has a lot more photos in it than the last one. I have all the stats here, and I have all of the modifications to the photo here, so I'm able to show you guys more clearly, what I've done here, give you guys some tips on what you can do if you're doing car photography, because I'm expecting that some people might come by, watch this video, looking to learn how to do car photography, and I think that this may help. So, with all that being said, this is the first photo in the group. This photo was basically what happened here. And I recommend you do this if you are doing car photography, for whatever, to say you're selling your own car. You want to make your car look good. And in this case, what I did here is I went out into the middle of nowhere, out into the desert, into a canyon actually. Pretty scenic place in the area I live in. And I decided to put it on the side of the highway, get to the other side of the highway with a relatively long lens. This is about a 105mm at max. And take photos of it. This is a good way to do this. This is how actually a lot of professionals do this. So this is basically my second attempt at doing real car photography. But of course I have a lot of training in other photographies, so I take those skills into this. So it's not like I'm unexperienced. Anyway, so we have the car here. You can see a lot of basic photographic ideas, or what's the word I'm looking for, rules that are being used here. For one, you have the rule of thirds in action. If you look here, you can see the car is sort of on this bottom right third. It is a little bit higher than it probably should be, but I wanted to get the road in the photo a little bit. On the other ones, I didn't do that as much, but on this one, I wanted to see how it looked. That's one tip for anyone taking photos of any car. Try to get as many variations of the photo as possible so you can look at it later and decide which one you like best. So, rule of thirds is, working well. The other thing is, you notice that I'm not cutting off the end of the car. You don't want to cut off any part of the car. In some photos, you'll see I do that, but that's more intentional. And also, you want to leave a little bit of leading headroom in front of the car, so the car, you could see where the car is going. It makes more sense. To put the car here with a lot of room in the back would look kind of, silly. If you really want to get a tight photo where there's no room in front or in the back, do this. Don't leave too much room in the back, because it's just going, you need to make sure you have that leading headroom. Trust me, try it. You'll notice why I said that. It doesn't look that good. So here's another photo. Oh, let me go back to this photo really quickly and tell you guys this is a very conservative edit. You can see it just increased the colors. If you look at the original, it was very bland and very grayscale, and then I just boosted up the colors with a bit of contrast, a bit of vibrance. Now this one's a little bit more vibrance than I normally put, and the reason why is because I really just wanted to play with a really colorful photo with this reflection here on the car looking all blue. This is one where it's even on both sides, which is fine as long as you don't have something like this where it's all in the back. You don't want to do that. So yeah, this is even on both sides. The shot in general is relatively good. As far as settings, by the way, if you're ever taking photos on a sunny day, 100 ISO, just set it to that. Don't move it. For your aperture, go wide if you want to have depth of field, which I wanted a little bit of depth of field, just because I think it looks good. And it's an f4, so it's not that deep. It's not like a 2.8 or a 1.8. And then you also just use your shutter speed to get your exposure right. Just leave those set and then use your shutter speed. That's what I do. So as far as this shot, pretty typical. By the way, you want to make sure that what you're using your lens to your advantage. You want to make sure you're compressing the background a bit, but not too much, because if you compress it too much, it's just going to cut, say here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And it just looks kind of goofy, I think, that way. You want to have a bit of sky, you want to have a bit of the mountains if you're shooting by mountains or something like that, so you can see that I have a little bit of good framing back there in terms of that. Here's a front way shot, and this front way shot is just basically rule of thirds, 101 on the bottom right. The only thing is that I'm probably going to delete the shot, and there's two reasons why. One, I don't like it that much, to be honest. It could be better. And two, it looks like there's a plastic bag there or something. And that's kind of annoying. I mean, if that wasn't there, it'd probably be an okay photo to save. Also, I feel like the shadow's cut off here, which bothers me. That's just OCD in effect. But I'm actually going to delete that right now because I don't like it. Here is a black and white. So black and whites don't really work in something so colorful as you can see by these photos. But I wanted to try like one where it's just out in the middle of the wasteland. So basically, I noticed this way, looking this way, there's no mountains or anything. It kind of just looks flat. So I did a little black and white. The only thing I don't like about this is, well, the framing's good. You know, forward room, headroom is great. Everything looks really nice here in terms of framing. I even like the way the car kind of lines up with the horizon there. The only problem I have with it is that this is so bright here. I wish it was a little bit less harsh, but there's not many ways you could fix that. Over here, we have a very close-up. This is where I cut off the car. Now, there's a problem with framing here. I should have been focusing more. But this photo is basically just a close-up of the Chevy logo. It's just to show, you know, Chevy, and in the background, the desert and the sky and all that. It's very pretty typical, simple photo. It's nothing too crazy. The only problem I have with it is the framing's a little off. One thing is I probably should have brought this up a little bit more or brought it down a little bit more. I don't like that I'm cutting off this part right here. And the other thing is that this light is just poking out, and that bothers me so much. That kind of just sticks out, that red. Of course, you can crop it, as many people would do, but, you know, it just takes away from the image quality, and it's not the best thing. So try to, you know, you're supposed to try to get it right in the camera in the first time. So here's a typical profile side shot. This is, you know, very well framed. It took like 5 different photos to make sure they were right, and eventually I got it perfect. You know, almost perfect spacing on both ends. It's a little difficult to get it completely perfect, but I think it's good. It's not too far apart in terms of distance. The profile shot's perfect, great background, great clouds in the background. In fact, I waited for these clouds to move because it was all gray at one point. And once I got the shot, it just looks perfect. There's nothing wrong with this in my opinion. Everything just looks right. The framing's good. There's nothing distracting in the photo. So this is a really good prize photo. I'd say this is the best one in the group, in my opinion at least. This is a black and white again, another attempt at a black and white. I think this is a good black and white, solid. It's just very boring. I kind of wish this could be color, but the problem is, if you look at the, whoops, I just messed up. But if you look at the original, it's very, this is a mistake, very overexposed in some areas. So what happened was when I tried to, like, you know, add contrast and things like that, whoops, when I tried to add contrast and things like that, it didn't do the job. It just looked bad. The colors were all gone. So I just went with the black and white, and the black and white looks really nice, I think, in this photo. This is a, you know, just a rear bumper photo, not bumper, but rear taillight photo that I just thought looked cool. It advertises the Chevy logo, which I think looks cool, and then it's just really good framing, I think. I think it's interesting with the big mountain in the background. I want to do something with this mountain. As far as, like, the framing, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks a little bit tilted, which kind of worries me a little bit, but I don't think it is. It's just, I think it's just me saying that because that's how I am. But it's possible that it's tilted a little bit. Now I feel like it's tilted too much the other direction. So I think it's good as this, but it's a cool little photo just showing off the tail and the louvers on the window, and just really good color in the background, things like that, good framing. I think this is a cool little creative shot. You really don't see shots like this a lot. This is the, wait, actually, one second, let me look at something. Oh, that's actually worked out really well. You can't even see me taking the photo, really, unless that's me. I don't think that's me. Oh, that is me. Well, look at that. So over here, though, it's pretty difficult to see myself in the shot, which is pretty cool. And this could be photoshopped if you really wanted to, which I might. This shot is alright. This is just a shot I wanted to get the louvers, you know, in the shot and show, you know, some leading lines to the road, a little S-curve here. Following a lot of photographic rules. One thing that bothers me is I can't really see where the focus is. I think it's like here, and like I feel like the f4 didn't do the job here. It's just that it's just too deep of a depth of field, because over here, or too shallow, my bad, too deep. Too shallow of a depth of field, because right there it gets a little weird. You might notice a lot of these photos have a lot of color fringing. I'm actually going to go ahead and fix that afterward. That's just something you have to deal with. And this is one of my favorite shots from the group. I think this is really cool. Leading line, S-curve. You know, you got the photo on the right, or the car on the right, sitting here, very prominent. It's cut off here, which is fine. It gets very dark here, kind of shadowy. There's a bit of vignetting from the lens, but I think that adds to the photo. And of course, the clouds look awesome here, the sun behind them. The mountain up here just looks really good. I think this is one of my favorite photos I've ever taken by a long shot. I just noticed like how sharp, look how sharp the road is here. That's crazy. Look at all the detail. A little bit of fringing though. But that is pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this second edition of the car photography. I'll probably do another one in the future, to be honest, because every time I go out to shoot a video, which I don't know if it's up yet, but there'll be a video for this canyon, I take some photos. I mean, why not? You know, you're out in this beautiful place. Why not take some photos really quickly? You know, all that stuff. I just noticed the GoPro is on the car there. That's fine. Doesn't matter. But that is pretty much it. Once again, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, like and comment and leave some feedback below. I always appreciate it. But I will see you guys next time.